Sunday nights are a special time at my house in Shoreview. It's always Sunday dinner. AJ, my son, and I were whipping up some vodka cream sauce pasta, and a couple of our regular guests are hockey writers Michael Russo from the Star Tribune and Chad Graff from the Pioneer Press. We welcome you inside with our first installment of our kitchen conversation. Sunday dinner is a tradition in Shoreview. Tonight we've got the writers here. We're going to talk a little hockey while we make some food. These guys are Michael Russo from the Star Tribune, Chad Graff from the Pioneer Press. Guys, we'll start out with some of the new rules in the National Hockey League. 3-on-3 overtime has one that everybody's talking about. Everybody's looking at it. What do you like about it? What do you not like about it?
Well, I don't like when Mikko Koivu and Ryan Suter overextend their shifts. That would probably be the one thing if you're a Wild fan. No, I like it. I mean, it's fast, and you know, you and I have discussed this so many times. It's anything to prevent shootouts, I think, is a good thing. But you know, to me, it's one of those things where the Wild have to figure out a way, because you know, not only have they given Dallas a couple extra points here, but they've lost now 6. So I mean, that's huge when you look at the standings. You know, especially in a division where you know that 5 teams are going to make it.
Well, I like that so many of them are ending in the overtime and not the shootout, and so I think that the long change is good. I think that the Wild haven't quite learned how to deal with that, but I think that it's led to exactly what the NHL has wanted it to lead to.
But how many of I mean, if you look at the Wild's losses, you could look to some and say that it was because guys were on the ice too long. You could look at others and say it was because a guy tried to get off. Everybody in the league's dealing with it. It's not going to be perfect, but it does. I think it's doing exactly what your point is that it's eliminating games that are going to the shootout. That's all that really matters. Who wins or loses is a side note to that.
At the same time, I mean, the Wild are 1-6, but that's 7 games. That's an extremely small sample size for something that's going to be ongoing. I think that the Wild are built to succeed in overtime, which is where, you know, the angst from fans comes from, because they have puck-moving defensemen. They have a lot of speed. They should be very good at this. So I think that's why people are upset.
Yeah, but if you look at them not winning the games, it's because they're not finishing. Well, if they're built for overtime, they don't have the finishers. But let me ask you this. This popped in my head the other day. Do you still think that the first tiebreaker should be ROW when the OW part is 3-on-3? Like, they had this because the shootout was basically, they wanted to make sure that the teams that had the ability to win
maybe just make it regulation wins
to me, it's still 3-on-3. It's still a skills competition. So now all of a sudden, a team like the Wild, who actually have one of the fewest in the league regulation losses, if this winds up being a tiebreaker, they're going to wind up getting screwed because of this.
So actually, I like it that way. Say the fewest regulation losses over the course of the season.
Done.
Make it happen?
Make it happen.
Book it.
I'm going to call Bettman.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. The other significant change was the coach's challenge this year. This has certainly affected some games. I think it's been good. They've eliminated some mistakes. Have they eliminated enough?
Well, you know what has shocked me is the amount of goals that actually have been overturned that were offside. I mean, you know, linesmen, you always think that they're like 99% perfect, 99.9%, but hold on.
This could be very important.
Yeah.
Welcome to the world of eating meals with Michael Russo. If the phone rings, everybody hold on, stop.
What were we talking about? What's the subject?
So linesmen have been letting trucks go on and play. Which
like, you always think these linesmen are perfect, but holy mackerel, they're not.
Although, I think your point, we had a conversation the other day where I think your point was valid, that maybe linesmen, when in doubt, are letting a play go on because they know it can later be reviewed. If they blow it dead, there's no going back.
Well, a couple goalies have told me that they think it's that way with goalie interference now. It's like they're letting any contact go, and then if the goal goes in, then they go and reverse it rather than making a call on waving a goal off immediately or even calling goalie interference.
That one would be more problematic. Let it go on if you're not entirely sure about the offside, but I think the goalie interference, just make the call on that one. I don't think you should wait for that to go in the net.
How about just the way that it's been handled, though? Would you like to see it shift to where the guys in Toronto make the final call on all of this instead of the referee there at the rink?
That's Devin Dubnyk's idea, and I like it because I think that the one problem is that even when referees are looking at it, it's still subjective up to them, and maybe this referee will not have the same decision that referee would, and if you had just the same people every single night making the decision, I think that would at least be more of a uniform consistency in the league?
Well, and part of the problem is you're asking these guys to admit that they were wrong and that they didn't get it right.
And you hope that's not a factor.
Right.
You really hope that's not a factor. You hope that a guy's not going to be that stubborn that he's going to say, I saw it right. And maybe by going to Toronto, you eliminate some of that.
How much garlic and onions are you putting in this?
Well, these are shallots, not onions,
Okay.
number one. But
I'm just saying, I can't breathe right now.
And we don't allow Chad to cut them because the one time we put a knife in his hand, he cut him with the skin on him, and we had all kinds of
And you don't do it, and I don't do it because I'd cut my finger off. In fact, Margot, Anthony's wonderful wife, gave me a Christmas gift, a first aid kit today.
Right, well, we're hoping we don't have to use that tonight.